but made him give his word that he would only share it with you if you would all agree to abandon the quest on these cards, to abandon the game, to leave it behind and turn your back on it.
Do we get to know what it is first?
He says it's a stone, not unlike the ones found in the sensoriums at the fest hall in Old Sigil.
Mm-hmm.
Sigil.
And he says, yeah, that's what I said, Old Sigil.
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 And a nubile young lady comes over and sits on Kelian's lap.
Kelian shuts up.
He says that he sees in you great potential to become adventurers, possibly dwarfing what he and his companions were able to do. But only if you broaden your focus. If you abandon this clearly impossible folly and go in a new direction. To admit that one story has ended, and then it's time for another to begin.
Kelian turns to Riot and says, yeah, I really don't like Aunt Nancy anymore.
I don't know.
This is how he does it. This is how he gains control of stories.
Exactly.
He's the one who declares when they end. No.
Well, it's on the stone. I got a sensory stone. There's nothing on it.
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
gonna trade it for anything.
Wait, you got one too? Where did you get yours?
Sensorium.
Wow. Okay.
What?
I
They sell
paid a
them.
lot of money for mine.
So Riot's a no. What does everybody else think?
I want to know what's on the stone.
And Fred merely tells you the first chapter of the next story. Where
So that's just bad bargaining.
Liberation is all of the opinion that Aunt Nancy can get bent. He thinks it's a hoot.
So Liberation's a yes?
Yeah, no, Liberation's like staying in the game, man. Like
Okay.
he's having a lot of fun twisting Aunt Nancy's instructions like we're doing right now. You know, messing around with Fred when, you know, he's someone else's goal or problem.
Well, here's the thing, though. Who gives a shit? You know,
I do.
like
I do.
we just do it anyway.
It's hopeless, but we
Are you
already
doing
gave
this
up on
because you're in
that.
some game, Riot? No, you're just doing it because you're Riot.
Serenity, go
We
ahead.
gave all of ours to someone else, and then we took some of theirs, right? So
We gave one of ours. We gave two of ours. So
We gave one to the Alkaline Index and we gave one to the Middle Bobs.
So what Mahogany's saying is, let's agree to this, but then just go ahead and rescue these people anyway.
Right. He said we can
Right.
only save one, then fuck him and fuck his rules. We save them all, we don't play the game.
But then we can't win, and I want to win.
But we don't even know what winning gets
Who says you win, Riot? Who decides if you win?
what if we bring Dolphinder here since she wants off the team and have her take the thing and then leave the team? We have Terrence to replace her anyway.
that
No,
kicks-
Terrence was replacing
Bobber.
Bobber.
Yeah, and Bobrick.
Not the Dolphin.
Because here the Alkyonic Order was eliminated because apparently. Why were they eliminated?
We didn't find out why they were eliminated, as far as I know.
I thought they just thought they were eliminated because they didn't get cards.
Oh, maybe.
Well,
They thought they were eliminated, and they thought it might have been because they killed what's his name.
oh, Mr. E. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at because that's because I think we're at the point now where getting irrevocably removed will eliminate a team, one of their number.
Yeah.
So I think if we I think that's a bad idea, getting rid of Dolphinder. But no, I'm right there with you, Riot.
But yeah, Mahogany turns to Riot and he says, "You say you want to win, but you also say you don't want to follow Aunt Nancy's rules. Well, guess what? Aunt Nancy's the one who decides if you win."
I want to win by following. I want to win on my terms. I want to follow Aunt Nancy's rules by subverting them, and that's what we're doing here, right? We're working on somebody else's objective while they work on ours. That's the way I want to win, through loopholes and tricks. But I want to remain in the game. If we straight up break one of the Aunt Nancy's rules by, say, for instance, taking something that we have to agree to leave the game to do, and then quote unquote not leaving the game, well, guess what? We've left the game. We don't get to win. I want to win. I want to win, and I want to rub the means of our victories in Aunt Nancy's face as he gives us our prize.
What if he just doesn't?
What if our prize is indentured servitude to a demon for the next infinity?
Did we break that?
Fred says that would be a very terrible prize.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be.
And besides, Aunt Nancy did say riches and stuff beyond our wildest dreams, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think I can imagine that.
By definition.
Definitely didn't dream of being an indentured servant for the rest of eternity.
But listen, this is a classic story, and Fred, back me up here. It's the story of the clever youth who, through guile and wit, tricks his way to victory, not through strength, not through force.
And Fred assents, and he says, "One of my favorites."
That's what I'm aiming for. That's the story I want to have.
And so, through your youth and guile and trickery, how will you abscond with this stone that I'm not allowed to give you?
Who's to say we haven't already taken it?
Fred
Just
looks
like the egg.
delighted to hear that answer.
What exactly, because this is important, what exactly were Aunt Nancy's words?
He says that he made Fred give his word that he would only share with you the experience on that sensory stone if you agreed to abandon the quest of these cards put before you.
Now, did he say he would only... Oh, I see. Can I ask an odd question, Fred?
He likes odd questions. Those are his favorites.
These girls around here, like, points around. Are they real?
And he reaches around one and takes a handful of one of her breasts and says, "They're real enough."
That's a rude question, right? You shouldn't ask people if they're real.
All right.
None of the women seem to take offense at that.
You can't share with us, under the terms of your agreement with Nancy, the experience on the stone. But there's nothing stopping you from sharing it with one of these girls, right?
He sees where you're going with this. And he says, unfortunately, these women don't have the wits to understand what it might contain. As you may have expected, they're part of the illusion of this place.
That's what I was getting at. Are these girls real or not?
And Kelian pushes his off his lap.
Quasi-real woman-like creatures.
Absolute worst.
Quasi-real horse-like creatures.
Maybe that's why Liberation wasn't, ogling them or anything.
Yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
But if we can get that sensory zone into somebody else's mind, I can just pluck it right out of there.
And he says, obviously, he couldn't agree to that because it would be breaking the spirit of the word that he gave. And while he's saying this, he gives you a sly wink.
Hmm.
What does that look like? What's a sly wink look like?
Like, I don't have my webcam turned on, so you'll never know.
So if someone were to do that to you, obviously you would have to resist.
Obviously.
I cast a spell.
You cast a spell.
Detect thoughts.
Detect thoughts.
Liberation, do you want to counterspell this?
Nope. I'm good with that.
Damn, I didn't take counter.
Is detect thoughts a divination spell?
Yeah.
It does not function. But you don't expend a spell slot to do that, right? That's a racial trait for you?
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think I already knew that, too, because I tried to cast it on one of the
Yeah, you tried to get into a bird brain.
Are you trying to do this covertly?
There's really no way to do it covertly.
Okay.
Because if it succeeds in the way that I want it to succeed, they're going to know that I'm doing it.
Well, I mean, the material component's a copper piece. You've got to do something. It's got verbal and somatic components. But
Right.
You're not doing it covert. Okay. So Fred sees the spell that you're trying to cast.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you... I'm going to get yelled at for this. One of the hallmarks of being a successful adventurer on the plains is to do your research first. He tells you that he will be able to find you a fatted calf with which to slaughter so that you may read the entrails to make your divination work.
Ah. Sure.
And you all hear and feel the reverberations as Big Weldon continues to stomp around the countryside.
In the meantime,
Mhm.
passing one of these illusory girls, I guess.
Does anybody else have anything for Fred in the meantime? Before they find Riot a fatted calf to slaughter. Okay.
No.
So
Well, not a question for Fred, but Pillar Sigil. What is it structure? Like, is it solid? Is it structure? Is it just an illusion? Like,
no, they're solid structures, but they're not substantial structures. It's like the buildings in Main Street at Disney World aren't real buildings. So you can go up and touch them and feel them, but there's nothing on the other side. The only room of major substance is the room you're inside in the center, Fred's living quarters.
that's
What's replaced by the room?
What do you mean?
Like in
The spire.
yeah, like what?
What's in the center?
Yeah,
Fred's room.
What did he? What specifically did he do with the razor vine? Did he sand it down?
There just isn't any. There's no razor vine. There's no big bladed architecture. None of that silliness. Not very comfy, those things.
Just so I'm taking it that like none of the women have like knee buckles with faces on them.
No, nothing like that. Most of them are wearing like grass skirts and things. Riot.
did he sand the sides off the Doomguard logo?
Did what?
Did he sand the sides off the Doomguard colors?
Well, the Doomguard colors are emblazoned on a tapestry. They're not literally like it's not like a sculpture. You can't cut yourself on it. It's just cloth.
Mahogany spends an hour trying to give himself a cloth cut.
Eventually, the calf is brought up, and Fred instructs you on how to cast divination spells on Arborea. That you must make a sacrifice, and then read the divination in the entrails of the beast.
All right. So Riot gets out her dagger and tries sacrificing this thing to Ostrom.
You're going to sacrifice it to Ostrom?
Yeah.
Do you tell Fred that you're doing this?
Yeah, I'll ask first. Do I have to sacrifice it just in general, or is it okay to sacrifice it to a god, or what?
He tells you if you sacrifice it to a god, it better be one of the gods of Olympus.
Ah.
But he says, by all means,
Non-cipher bonus.
whichever god you choose. If we hear lightning strikes, you'll know you've done it wrong.
Let's just do it the normal way then.
There's a normal way to sacrifice things?
Sure, it's whatever way you do it.
Yeah, you just give adventurers an instruction for an impossible task.
Yeah. Riot first sinks the dagger into the cow's brain, killing it, and then cuts open the belly and fishes out some of the entrails.
Okay. And then using the entrails as the material component for the spell, You cast Detect Thoughts on who?
On Fred, and I tell him, now look, you have to resist this, because it's possible that the spell might fail, but if you just let me in, then we're breaking the terms of the covenant with Aunt Nancy. You can't have that. Right? You can't share this with me. I have to take it.
He has an 18. I think that turns into... Yes, 18.
Plus 4?
Well, no, that was after his pluses.
Oh, he has an 18.
He rolled pretty low, too. It just turns into an 18.
But he did resist it.
Yeah, he attempted.
Then I'm going to do something I don't do a lot and spend 4 belief points.
Okay.
For the automatic success.
Yeah.
That is a clutch use of that.
That's what I'm asking. Does the 18 resist?
Oh, yeah, it resists.
Okay.
My DC is 18.
So you're going to spend 4 belief points to make him fail, then?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead and spend the belief points. And usually you're used to getting Detect Thoughts. You're used to getting a sensation of like pushing around inside someone's mind and taking thoughts and getting the surface. Today, though, you're literally reading them in the intestines and sweetmeats of this slaughtered calf. And his surface thoughts is, this is an incredibly disgusting way to do divinations.
All right, and after that, I need to know what's in the stone.
All right, so you're going to go deeper?
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 1.
Nice!
Oh!
So you go
RNG!
deeper. And what's in the stone? You realize, looking for thoughts about the stone, that Fred was not being truthful with you earlier regarding being able to find Eldov. He knows where Eldov is, and the sensation inside the stone is of an argument that he and Fred had. That Eldov was looking for a magic item of incredible power to implant inside of his dancing hut, to make it even stronger, to cement his control over it. And you see Fred as a young man, bald and tattooed and dapper looking. And you can see the person he's talking to, a young half-elf with golden hair, but you see his features are very gaunt and drawn. Like he hasn't been eating. He hasn't been maintaining his hygiene. He hasn't had his hair clipped. He looks like, what's the guy's name who Leonardo DiCaprio played in The Aviator?
No,
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes.
Yeah. Like Howard Hughes after being locked in the room for 6 months with just his genius and that's it. And so that's what the stone contains, is this memory, this argument. And you can tell straight away that Fred believes this man is lost, that he's gone mad with his own power. But he does know where Eldov went, and that's the thought you get. Eldov went in search of this magical device, and it was to be found in the bowels of the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
More to the point, you see kind of a hologram in the middle of the room as Eldov is explaining what this item is and what it can do. And it's a cube that looks like a labyrinth turned in on itself many, many times.
Gotcha.
Would you say it's maze-like?
It does look like a maze-like stone.
And that's pretty much the entire contents of the stone?
Right, the Century Stone contained that memory of Fred standing in this room having this argument with the sorcerer.
Okay. While I'm in here, let me try one more thing.
You're gonna go deeper?
Yeah.
Like it's a filing cabinet.
Okay, that's gonna be a 32.
Okay, so I don't
Got what you want.
I got what
I rolled really low twice in a row. And so you're pushed out of his mind. And Fred, very solemnly, you realize that while you were reading the entrails, his sofa has kind of sauntered over, and he's next to you now, looking over. And very somberly, he turns to you and asks, "Do you think it will disrupt the magic if we grill some of this up?"
Riot says, "You know what? It looks like I've made a mess all over your place. I think you'd better throw us out now. We've violated your mind. We've violated your home. We're just vandals."
And he's so nonsense. You're welcome anytime. And his
right, like shakes his head, like no.
Mahogany looks over at Riot talking and starts putting food in his pocket.
Right, it's pointless. He's never gonna figure it out.
Liberation's filling his flask.
I'd rather have real women.
He asks
good luck.
He asks if you would like Big Welton to carry you back to the portal where you entered.
No, I can handle it.
Seems like a pretty hospitable way to treat a bunch of thieves and looters.
And he says, "Whatever are you talking about? I see you as cherished friends. You're welcome anytime to all of the hospitality I have to offer. In fact, it's been quite a joy speaking with all of you."
Right, can't believe that he's this
I love
unable
it.
to
I love it
sell a
also.
bit.
Liberation does this. That's what I think of your hospitality.
I think the table insulted you. It got tipped over.
He very
Ready to talk
pointedly
and
does
smack.
not throw you out.
Okay.
But if it's time to go, he says his goodbyes and sends you on your way.
All right.
So what's next? Heading back to Sigil, or are we going to stay on Arborea and do a hex crawl?
On the way out, Mahogany puts down the tiny mahogany he carved in the middle of the gymnasium.
Riot says as they're leaving, "If you see Zez, say hi to him for me."
So you say that to Fred?
Fred, yeah.
He doesn't know who Zez is.
Yeah. But like I was going through all the factions, and as near as I can figure, the only one who would possibly come for him other than us is either the demons or Zez, or the astral pirates.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I was missing something there, but like I was trying to figure out because he said he was looking forward to seeing multiple parties. And I was like, well, the Alkindaks aren't coming, the Middle Bops aren't coming, the demons might come, maybe the astral pirates might come. I don't know. That's pretty much it as far as the game goes right now.
What's got me weirded out is why Aunt Nancy said that. Like Fred specifically identified that we would be one of the guys visiting. That we would be one of the teams visiting him, despite the fact that we didn't get cards.
Right.
We didn't get his card.
Oh, I can answer that. Aunt Nancy's onto our horse shit and doesn't give a hell. Doesn't care.
Yeah, but
I thought that was clear. Like, he said that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Like-
pretty.
He's down on us
obvious.
trying to
Also-
trick him because he loves it.
Right. That's why he didn't kill Riot as soon as like they met on the Beastlands.
Right, like, he just loves it. Like,
But he also wants us not to get involved with Terran.
why? Why do you think you know that?
That's not true
Because-
at all. He's just putting up an obstacle in a way and daring us to figure out how to get around it. He wanted us to have that information that
Right.
Fred had.
It's all just lies and trickery.
So you have some chores to tend to back in Sigil. You guys managed to get out of there with a bunch of magic items, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys have some Sigil stuff to attend to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get my note sheet here so I can get some actions down.
I feel like we already had a supply of pearls. Might be wrong on
Who's
that.
got them on the character sheet?
Like I said, I might be wrong.
I've got
on that.
'em.
I thought
You've got them?
that's okay.
I've got a supply of pearls.
How many?
That's right from Ostrom's realm.
Yeah.
I've got 3 100 GP pearls.
Oh, that's exactly what you need. Alright, let me get my note sheet here with the magic items on it. Are you going to expend those to get these identified?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Can any one of us cast Identify?
Nope, no one can.
No, you've been... I mean, I'm assuming you're going to continue to ask Dolphin to do this.
Oh,
I think we're
no,
using Ferocity now.
Mahogany says, let's go talk to Ferocity.
Okay.
We previously established that Ferocity likes casting Identify because she gets to learn new things about places without actually having to go there.
Did you guys take... Did anybody take those caches of arrows?
I think
yes, we did.
I think Serenity took some.
We fucking all grabbed.
Okay. So
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Identifying one of those arrows, they are +1 ammunition.
Alright, so we got a bunch of +1 arrows.
Plus the schematic, right? I wanted the schematic.
Who's going to actually carry some of those arrows with them?
Well, you won't gain a +1 benefit unless you're on Arborea. They lose that plus when you leave Arborea. They're still
It's like a
magical.
magical item.
Yeah, they're still magical, but they...
Weapons.
And the schematic requires 20 silver pieces in raw materials per arrow you make, and 1 spell slot to enchant the arrow. And the schematic only works on the plane of Arborea.
Oh, that's not nearly as exciting as I hoped it would be.
The pale blue stone you found is an ion stone of strength.
What's that?
Was that the gem or a stone?
That was one of the gems.
There was a gem. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
You found
What does it set your strength to in this edition?
It gives you a +2 bonus to strength.
Okay, so I'm assuming Serenity wants that.
And I think it requires attunement.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be something Serenity would be interested in.
Yeah.
Everyone's fine with that, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, there you go.
Especially if it requires attunement.
That's what I'm double checking now.
Yeah, I'm reading right now.
How do you attune to a gemstone?
The reason why I'm asking if
starts
anyone's
circling
carrying
around
those
your head.
arrows is because otherwise I'm going to add it to the cache of shit that we have stored in the Mahogany shop.
Oh, we also have a cache of shit in the rat hole.
Yeah,
We've got all kinds of caches of shit. We got them everywhere.
The shield is a sentinel shield, which does not require attunement, but it counts as a magic shield, and I believe it gives you advantage on perception checks while you wield it.
What does counts as a magical shield mean?
That means for purposes of things hitting your shield and destroying it, it's magical.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, you have advantage on initiative rolls and perception checks while holding the shield. But that does take up one of your hands.
Does it require attunement?
No, not the shield. And
Sounds like something Riot might want.
Possibly.
I mean, you got to
Is
try
your
it.
trident one-handed or two-handed?
The fork is two-handed, but I very rarely use it.
It's usually on her back, whereas she could just hold the shield.
Yeah.
the cloak
But
you found...
the guitar would also be two-handed is the thing.
Yeah.
The cloak you found also requires attunement, is a cloak of the bat. That's advantage on stealth checks. In areas of dim light or darkness, you gain a fly speed of 40 feet. But if you're not in areas of dim light or darkness, you do not. So it's pretty funny to be flying and then suddenly the darkness gets dispelled and then you fall to the ground and die. Also,
Sounds like a Kelian item.
while you're in dim light or darkness, you can use your action to polymorph yourself into a bat.
The Ion Stone doesn't actually do anything for me. I already have 20 strength.
Oh, yeah. I
What
can't
does it
raise
do?
with
It gives you +2 strength.
Increases your strength by 2 up to 20.
Up to 20. Okay.
And you're already at that cap?
Yeah.
Does anyone not have a third attuned
That
item?
was level 4, dude.
I guess I don't have a third attuned item, but strength won't do me any good.
Strength doesn't really do me much good either. 'Cause,
Wait, do Ion Stones attune, or is he just a bear with a stone going around his head?
That sounds really good, though.
Do bears have less than 20 strength?
Yeah, they do. Sometimes. Okay, yeah, if no one wants that stone, I'm absolutely going to take it, just so that Brick Road needs to know that when I'm an animal, there's a stupid stone going around my head.
So you're taking it?
Yeah, I'll grab that.
Okay.
It's cursed. You have no strength. You're not allowed to be a bear ever.
Are any of them cursed? That's a good question.
I know remove curse.
Isn't learning that they're cursed part of this appraisal process?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Identify dozens.
Usually
of
the
curses.
curse only shows up when it would start to actually hurt you.
No, curses just are fun. I've only had one Ioun stone, and it has been cursed.
And it
so-
was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
It was a thingy that whenever he tried to heal during a rest, it used his spell slots to heal him.
How long are we in Sigil?
As long as you want to be. That's up to you.
Should I level you guys?
It is
Good idea.
about a week to Dabustan, which is the last day of the year. All right, so who actually went and got those items identified? Who was...
Mahogany.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Mahogany's
probably
doing
Mahogany
that.
because he's the one who
Yeah.
knows ferocity.
So that'll be the down. So that'll be his
Mahogany because he's the one who pays ferocity.
What's Riot doing that afternoon?
Going to meet with Ursel to split this money up.
Okay.
How much of that silver did we manage to take and split?
Kelian claimed all the silver because everyone was just like, I don't want to carry the silver.
All right, fair enough.
He had a hard time
Mahogany-
fitting back through the portal.
Mahogany, the person who has regularly told Kelian when he needs to give up an item, pointedly said nothing about the silver. That's Kelian's.
What is Serenity doing this afternoon?
Do you guys want these arrows? No one here even uses a bow.
No. I was
Hey,
sort of
Keelan, are you
hoping,
going to keep that schematic?
I was sort of hoping that I could shift the schematic into being one to use for crossbow bolts, but if it's only good on Arborea,
You have a magic box that gives you free magic bolts.
yeah, I do.
I'll take the schematic if you don't want it.
Yeah, I
mean,
don't care
I'm
too
not
much about
gonna-
the schematic. I was just going to take all these arrows.
If you don't want it.
So what is
Yeah.
Serenity doing this afternoon?
Why not?
She is going to load all these arrows up into her pack and then bring them to Halistwolf for his work.
Mahogany will give up his arrows with the understanding that he gets to watch Serenity carry 12 quivers of arrows.
What is Liberation doing this afternoon?
Soup kitchen for donations.
And what about
I'm
Kelian?
doing the math on that for now.
Well, after Kelian deposits the silver into the rat hole.
That's going to take an entire action to do that.
Okay. But that is what Kelian is doing.
Okay.
How rolled does Kelian get carrying all this silver through Sigil?
Oh,
That's it. We'll cover that on Kelian's turn. Mahogany does not get a
Going to the
turn
bathroom.
because we just did him.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And I'm not giving you your next turn either.
Oh,
Riot. Where are you meeting with your cell? Back at the church?
Yeah. In my quote-unquote office.
Okay. And
No.
when you get back, what day is today?
That's a good question.
Today is low day. No. Today is Clerk's Day.
Sunday.
Okay.
Yashnars informs you
Mhm.
that he has designated Ring Day, the last day of the Sigillian week, to
Okay.
give regular mass and pronouncements to those who would listen at the temple. And that on that day of the week, no monetary business can be conducted within the walls. That includes your office.
Okay.
He selected Ring Day, in case you're interested, because
I am.
the circular path of a ring denotes the circular paths of currents in great oceans.
Mhm.
It's also the day that follows Market Day. The day where, in Osprum's eyes, commerce would be piracy on the seas. and that the day after a good haul is seen as a day of rest.
And so that's today. Riot is like eating the stuff up. Riot has never met anyone that A, she can stand to be around, and B, knows anything about Ostrom.
Well, today's not Ring Day. Today is Clerk's Day. Ring Day is a couple days away.
And Riot is like nods in agreement with all this. Got it. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'll see that it's done.
So you're meeting with your cell, and you still had your people inside the Mercy Killers. Attempting to... Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
And you kind of instructed them to attempt to find out what Nylesia's designs were. They said they thought that she was up to something, that she's been very quiet and has not been making public appearances. They have interesting news on that front.
Okay.
They tell you that Nylesia's schedule is very regimented. One of them managed to get assigned to her personal protective detail. And she never sleeps. She takes 1 hour of rest in the middle of the night to have time to eat and bathe and whatnot. But that other than that, she has a very set schedule that she almost never deviates from. However, at odd times, once or twice a week, for a period of 7 hours, she will send her protective detail away, and they're not sure what's happening during that time. This is very irregular, and speaking with other people who have worked this detail, it's not something she used to do before Duke Darkwood's shindig.
Interesting. So I will pay them. They can distribute this 230 gold that I'm giving them.
Okay.
See, that sounds like information worth some jink. Well done, all of you. This is what I've got for now. Of course, when I have more, you'll have more.
One of the people in your cell is of the opinion that Nylesia has a new lover.
Mm-hmm.
And that these irregular disappearances are meetings with this person.
Do you know... Okay, so she sends all of her attendants away for 7 hours, right?
7 hours.
And they're with her up until then, right?
Yes, in 3 shifts throughout the day.
Where does she send them away from?
It varies.
Where is she during this time? Okay.
I mean, she doesn't leave the armory very often, but it's always somewhere inside the armory. She will dismiss them for a period of time and caution them to be back on time to resume their duties in 7 hours.
Is it the same... Does it start at the same time every day?
It doesn't, and that's very strange for her.
It sounds like she's working on some other plane's time to me. That's the only thing I can think of that would account for her doing things at odd hours when the rest of her schedule is so regimented. That she is, whoever she's interfacing with is on another plane that works on a different time cycle.
That's possible. And they can certainly use their new cache of Jink to try to find out if that's the case.
Yeah, that's what I want. I think that's our next step, is figuring out what plane's time cycle meets this criteria. If you chart her missing time against the days of every plane, which one does it line up with?
Well, that's information they have and can give to you.
Oh, okay.
And you can do that research on your own if you like.
Yeah, sure. Let's try that.
Okay.
So is Riot just gonna have a wall of pictures and string tying each other together?
That's basically what a lot of anarchist cells are in my...
Okay, so... Yeah, what they give you is essentially a timetable over a period of a couple of weeks. Since he's been assigned to this particular protective detail. He's not on her 24/7, but what he's been doing is getting in good with the other people on the other shifts. And he's pretty confident that this information is accurate. There does not seem to be any pattern coinciding to a particular place in the armory, and there doesn't seem to be a particular pattern coinciding with time in Sigil. It's a different time of the day, all hours of morning and night. The only thing that seems consistent is it doesn't ever overlap or supersede her 1 hour of rest that she takes in the middle of the night.
Okay. I'll also tell them that I can't say, by the way, I can't say too much about it for causality reasons, but I wouldn't worry about Darkwood. I think he's off the table as far as we're concerned.
They're intrigued. Do you go into any more detail, or just leave it at that?
I just leave it at that because, like, sometimes Riot just likes intriguing people.
Okay. Serenity, you're bringing gifts to Holistwath.
Yep.
And you come waltzing through the door carrying several quivers of arrows. Do you also bring him the schematic, or did Kelian keep that?
I think
Kelian.
Was
No,
Kelian
Kelian.
able to make it a crossbow schematic or not?
He hadn't looked into it. It's something that might be possible.
I'll leave the schematic with Kelian for now.
Okay.
Okay. And I mean, this is a particularly rich gift for Dwath. He's absolutely able to put these to good use.
I'll tell them about the properties that they're, from a Boreas, they're not going to be particularly potent here, but they will overcome things that need magic to hurt them.
Okay.
And that any other supplies he specifically needs that I should be on my lookout for while I'm out in the plains.
Go ahead and raise your influence with Dwath's group to 16 as a result of making this gift of arrows.
Okay.
He says there's one thing they're trying to crack on his end, a project they've been working on that he's been bending some of the wealth that you've given him in the past. Mm-hmm. And he's got a couple of wizards and things working on it. What he really needs is a way to defeat the Harmonium's planner man catchers.
Mm-hmm.
These are devices, they're man catchers, which these are weapons that used to be used to grab people off horses, basically. It's like sticks with big claws on the end, more or less.
Yeah.
And the Harmonium use these, and they're magical. They're enchanted. When they grab you, you're not able to teleport or dimension door or gate out or anything. Once you're caught in this planner man catcher, you're caught until the Harmonium decide to release you. No magical egress will avail you. And these work both in Sigil and out on the plains. What Dwath needs is a way to defeat these. If his agents were able to slip the grasp of these man-catchers, he might be able to get closer into the Harmonium.
Okay. I will see what I can do.
And we had decided that Dwath was not going to take up the Harmonium's offer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just marking down that they have a whole bunch of magical arrows here.
Costs all kinds of mana.
Kelian.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me how you're transporting 14,000 silver coins across the streets of Sigil.
Really slowly and carefully, and with if Serenity is willing, totally guarded too, so he's not jumped.
She's busy.
I mean, my afternoon action was going to be to go find Kelian, so...
Okay.
So you might find
Sure he's
him
not dead in a
as he's
gutter
dead.
somewhere.
Yeah, you might find him dead in the streets, as it turns out.
So,
I can only imagine Kelian's jingling just a little bit.
not only that, but it takes great effort to keep coins from bouncing out of your pockets. You're going to have a long trail of street urchins and ne'er-do-wells following you.
It's,
That's-
for reference,
Kelian.
it's 280 pounds of silver.
No, yeah, you're saying jingling a little bit. Imagine that you had 14,000 dimes. Dimes being the smallest coin that I can think of.
There is essentially no safe way to transport all of these coins across Sigil
Okay.
without...
I mean, Kelian can make multiple trips.
So where are you stashing them to make these trips?
He would stash them starting at the locksmith's office.
Okay. And that was at the Hall of Records?
Um,
Do you mean the office that Darkwood gave you?
no, this would
No,
be
he
the
took an office.
yeah. There was a locksmith's office, and I think it was the lower ward.
Okay. So then the question we just shift to: how do you get 14,000 dimes to that office?
Where did we start?
At the portal you came out of from Arborea is it's in a storm drain near the gym. So right now you're standing. I mean, essentially.
the opposite side. Like you see the spire, and then you see.
Like, I feel like it would just be easier to go to the portal at this point. Then
You're standing with 14,000
Like-
coins, surrounded by people with very low impulse control.
So we'll say that coming out of the portal, you decided to go through it backwards. So you're standing in the sewer beneath the street. So you're not. It doesn't immediately get descended upon by every thief in the clerk's ward, or the Guildhall ward rather. So you've got 14,000 dimes to get from inside of that sewer to wherever it is you need to go.
which we said was the it would be shorter to actually go to the portal.
rat hole.
Huh?
Well, the rat hole is in the middle of the hive. Keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that you're set on that course of action. Just literally take the coins there yourself, and not enlist any outside aid.
No.
Okay.
I am aware of the problems currently presented to Kelian at this point in time, okay? Like, totally aware. As
So-
to how? Yeah, I mean,
Here's how I'm going to handle this mechanically. Depending on how you decide to move the coin, I am going to roll percentile dice, and those percentile are going to determine how many dimes
much
you lose.
lose. Okay.
I will modify that percentile roll based on the idea you come up with to
I
get
come up
coins
with.
from A to
Okay.
B. Marching through the hive with all of these coins in your pockets.
It's going to be a high percentile. So
Yes.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
That is a shorter distance to travel as opposed to taking it all to the locksmith's office first.
Okay.
Even though that might be a safer route.
So you're going to take it all to the locksmith's office first, and then arrange for it to be taken in smaller trips to the rat hole?
Yes. I think that, and even then he would still no. He would fuck.
But if you hire somebody, you've got to pay them part of the dimes, and that defeats the whole purpose.
Not only that, it's all of a sudden I'm exposing like the locksmith's office to people, which I also
Yeah.
don't want to do.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
might be the bigger danger here at this point. So
So how are we doing this?
where's Osprum's temple?
Osprum's temple is also over.
It's by the
It's
the Hall of
Clerk's
Records.
Ward,
By
yeah.
the Hall of
It's,
Records.
By the
it's
Hall of
hive
Records?
adjacent.
it's hive adjacent, but that I think so. That
I
might
think
actually
it's like
be
it's like
better.
right here. I
That would be
believe.
better, yeah.
And then from there, transport it all into the rat hole, because like a taker going through the clerk's ward and like passing by the Hall of Records, my intuition is they identify as a taker. Of course, he's got all this jank. They're not gonna give him too much shit about it. So
So you're gonna walk
I
from
think-
here along these roads.
Yep.
Through the Arcadia here. Over past.
What's your carrying capacity?
This. Dimes.
So you're gonna walk this route with all
The temple is
14,000
down here,
silver
by the way.
pieces.
This is where the temple
Oh.
is.
So we'll just kind of just bring this down here.
no, stop that.
But you're gonna make this.
There we go. All right.
You're gonna make this route just carrying all the silver on your person. I want you to make me a strength check.
Does he have a fanny pack?
I want to
dime.
Is there like an elaborate fat suit getup?
He's like, how is this the hardest thing I've done in this game so far?
Is he gonna get experience at the end of this?
He might.
And listen, he had better not be doing this on a Rings Day, is all I'm going to say.
Oh, what? I missed that.
You better not be doing it on a Rings Day.
No work done in the temple.
Yeah,
No monetary work done in the temple on Rings Day. Riot's going to put a foot down on that one.
So the arrangement at this point is Kelian still has quarters in the temple, yes? And you've arranged this with the Aasimars to allow Kelian to stay there?
And the deed is in his name, so...
Yeah, like that's what Riot says. Like, he technically owns the place. We can't really keep him out.
Okay. Now...
So...
This is where spending that banana really helped you, because if this arrangement had come around any other way, Aasimars would fight this on tooth and nail. But no, he's going to be fine with it. So you're walking this route to the temple with all this coin on your person. That's the question. So go ahead and make a strength check.
I think what Kelian would logistically do is he would try it at first. Mm-hmm. Realize what, in fact, just how much of a struggle it is.
He went like one block. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
you figured that out just getting the stuff off of Old Weldon. Weldon.
Yeah.
I made you make dexterity saves to get down the stairs of that mountain for a reason.
Yeah.
But charitably, you're probably at half movement speed. You have to constantly stop and reshift your weight and bend over to pick up coins that have fallen. Turn around and shoo off kids that are following you.
It's the dime man.
But
so it's time to make a decision. How you doing?
Yeah. What he's going to do, and he's going to respect the taker nature in him, is that any coins that he drops, he will offer to like children who are like swarming around him, and tell the children, you can keep those coins if you let him know what's ahead to make sure that he's not about to be jumped.
So you're gonna hire street children.
Yep.
Okay.
This is how this is gonna go.
You put it like that, they can keep any coins that fall off of you?
Yes.
I want you to first make a persuasion check.
Okay. I'm good at those.
Kelian is a wonderful person.
Yeah. That is a 29.
29.
He's very persuasive.
Free Jink, you know what?
But I have to drop it. And as soon as, like, if they start, like, assaulting me, then no. I'm not going to have any of it. And I will start beating them and kicking them and maybe even shooting them in the knee.
Make a strength check.
This is the one that's going to suck.
Meanwhile, Mahogany walks away with his useless fucking strength stone.
Yeah!
That is a lucky token right there.
Okay.
There we go. So much better.
Great use of a
So
lucky
much
token
better.
right there.
So how does that do?
That is a 21.
Great use of a lucky
Now,
token.
your threat, if any of these kids start assaulting you or anything, to turn around and shoot them, was that an idle threat, or are you actually willing to fight children who try to steal from you?
Yeah, no, Kelian would totally fight children to save coin. He's not going to have any of this.
Will you give them a warning shot first?
Yes,
One
he
warning
would.
shot?
I think he would give a warning shot.
All right, so now we're going to roll percentile dice. And you cannot use lucky on a percentile dice.
All right.
So, based on the skill checks you've made, and based on your willingness to kill children, as it stands right now, I am giving you a slight bonus. So go ahead and roll the percentile dice to see how much of this hoard you keep. Which is
For
which? The gray one is
For
10s?
that 99.
Yeah, gray one is 10s.
Yeah, in before 99.
Oh!
So, I gave you a 20% bonus, so you can keep 32% of the coins.
Wow.
All right,
Which,
now that
if I
that's
did my
happened,
math right, is 4480.
All right.
now that that's happened, I'm gonna really quick draw a second line on this page. This is the line to Mahogany's shop.
So I'm just marching down the streets with these coins is just proving absolutely idiotically stupid. And at some point you do have to turn and put a bolt into some of these children. But, I mean, thieves are taking knives to your purses and splattering coins everywhere. And 4480 is what you actually get back with. And Yashnars asks how much of that is a generous donation to the temple.
Go away.
I own you.
I shot children for this.
Now,
And birds.
4480, I mean, that's 448 gold.
Silver. Oh, 448 gold?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty good.
everybody along this path, all through the Fest Hall, and especially through the Hall of Records, everybody knows you're the man who was carrying all of this coin. And, I mean, you already were a known face in this area of Sigil. And the jokes and the songs and it's all so humiliating.
I love it.
Whatever. I've got the jink.
Well, you've got 37%
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, you got 37% of the
That
joke.
was
Got less than a third.
Like, I don't want to hear it.
Well, more
Yeah, well-
than a third. You're literally gonna hear it.
You don't always get what you want.
Yeah.
Liberation.
Hey.
You go back to the soup kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and Mondo is not there. And the place isn't empty. I mean, it's still being tended to by some of his other people that he has
Okay.
here or there. But they're actually worried about him. They're worried for two reasons. Number one, they haven't seen Mondo, and he has not left any word of where he was going. And number two, many of their regulars have signed up with this apparently odd job man that's been coming around.
Okay.
And very
First
few
off-
of them are still here.
Okay. First off, are any of the guys that run the soup kitchen that I've seen on the regular?
Mondo doesn't really have a
that-
regular guy. He's the only face that's guaranteed to be here. The rest of them are more like you. They come around, they volunteer their time when they're here, but because of that, you can't really get a good picture of what's been happening here the past few days. It's all kind of a patchwork.
So 192 gold is what I'm going to leave for the soup kitchen.
And you're just leaving that with whoever's tending the place at this moment?
Yeah, whoever's tending it right now.
Hey, he
So-
pock-
and I'm
He
going to
pockets it.
say,
He says, I'm sure Mondo would thank you for that.
yeah, I know. Please, just don't let too much of it vanish, please. Okay.
Hey.
That's what he says, and then, I've got some people working on it, and I got some people working on this situation, and I'm going to find Father Mondo. That is a thing that's going to happen.
Okay. Let's get our evening action declarations then. Mahogany, you spent the afternoon getting items identified. Were you going to level
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
Riot, you're done meeting with your cell. What's happening this evening?
Trying to think. I had a couple of things in mind. I'm just trying to remember what they were. Come back to me in a second.
Okay. Serenity, you gave Dwath a lot of magic arrows.
Yep.
And you said this evening you were going to go meet up with Kelian?
I'm going to go find Kelian, yes.
Won't be that hard.
Kelian, what are you doing this evening?
He is sitting on his sack of coins and leveling up.
Okay, so you're leveling up back at the place.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull up my PHP.
And Liberation, what's your evening action?
I would love to go. I need to. Father Mondo is very important, but a level 13 liberation would be better than a level 12 liberation to help him out, I think.
So this guy tells you that Mondo is missing, and you're like, I'm gonna let you finish, but first, I got some of my
Training
experience
montage.
on. Training montage. All right, there's nobody else left.
Okay, yeah, I remember what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Riot is going to the armory to speak with her friend. I had this a second ago. Gildebrot.
Gildebrot?
Mhm.
I literally have no idea who that is. It's a good thing I keep a spreadsheet. Gildebrot is a female warrior, an anarchist inside the Doomguard.
Yep.
One of your old contacts who works at the armory. And what are you going to see Gildebrot about?
I've got the schematic for Magic Arrows.
Okay.
So I thought I will trade her and see if she can help me with my timetable problem.
Okay. Let's go ahead and resolve these when we come back from break. It's about 4:20 now, so let's come back in about 15 minutes. It's 4:35. That's simple math, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Actually, Kelian, you better roll percentile and see how much of this break we drop on the stream. Now, I will say, that was about 10,000 silver pieces, so about 1,000 gold. That's only the second largest amount of gold I've seen a player lose, hilariously, in a campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said to
To
McLean in the stream.
yeah.
Kelian just lost almost as much silver as he lost gold.